Before we begin, I would like to introduce CamTool's online help menu. You can access it anytime by hitting the F1 key. If you are in a menu and you hit F1, CamTool will bring you directly to the help section for that menu. Let's hit F1 now. CamTool will default open to the index. Here you can find every definition in CamTool. There's also a search tab, and if we hit the contents tab, we can see that it is organized in easy to find sections. As we are about to start programming, we will want to know what program we want to use. If we expand the cutting mode list, we can see the different types of cutting modes CamTool has. By expanding one of these, it will list the cutting paths available under that type. Simply click on one of them and CamTool will give you all the information you need about that cutting path. Use this as a reference when you're trying to decide what toolpath you want to use. At this point, we are ready to create programs. We are going to go to the Cam tab, and looking at the Profile section, we're going to click Create Profile. In this window, we can set our profile name, we can add a comment, we can choose which cutting mode we'd like, we can select a profile to reference, and we can also select our tool and cutting conditions. Let's start by entering the profile name. We're going to call this Rough 01. A comment is not necessary, but you may enter one if you like. We're going to select the 3D2 tab, and we're going to pick Z-level rough cutting with multiple tools. We're going to select a reference profile. We will use the metric one for this. You can add and edit any profile in here. For help with that, please contact support. By clicking this box, we can change the tool settings for this job. We can also load the tooling database and load a tool quickly by clicking here. Under the CamTool Tools Metric tab, we're going to select bowl cutters. And we are going to select a 12mm bowl. We will select this tool. Under our cutting conditions, we're going to select steel 25 to 35 Rockwell, the roughing settings. You can add a lot of different cutting conditions, and for help with that, contact support. Before we continue, we can make sure that Add to Calculation Process is still on, or turn it on if it is not. This will automatically add it into our calculation process list. We can hit Create to finish this and see that it is added. It is also added on the tree over here. Before we can continue, we need to check a few things. For a program to calculate, CamTool needs to have a service to machine and a toolpath boundary or cutting range. Looking at our program, you can see that the service to machine and range are colored in. This is a quick way to tell that these have something selected. As you can see, work shape is grayed out, meaning it has nothing selected. If you left click on service to machine, you can see that the part is now highlighted, which means that is what it has selected. If we change layers to layer 15, when we click on our range, we can see that it is also highlighted, so that is what it has selected. Because we put these surfaces on the correct layers to work with CamTool's automatic select features, CamTool automatically selected the correct layers for our program. As mentioned before, these are customizable. Next, we are going to look at the cutting parameters of this toolpath. To do so, you can right-click on the profile name and go to Edit Calculation Condition. There is a lot of information to go over here. Some of it may be straightforward, but in case it isn't, you can hit the F1 key. And CamTool's online help menu can offer further explanation, or you can also contact support. For now, we are just going to change a few things to get this program made. The Machining tab contains the bulk of the information the program needs to make the cutter path. On this page, we are going to turn off Adjust Paths for Flats, as there is no flats in the geometry of the part. This adds extra calculation time for something that's not being used. The rest we are going to leave alone. If we hit the Approach Escape tab, this page controls our approach and our escape along with our arcs and connecting moves. On the Precision tab, this controls the precision of the toolpath. And finally, the tool page. This contains all of your tool information and the parameters set from the cutting condition which we chose when creating the program. Notice that there are letters next to some of the descriptions. These are the variables that CAMTool can use in the Machining and Approach Escape tabs. This allows for generic programming to be easier, where you can simply switch a tool and the variables will automatically update the programs rather than having to go through and change each one. If we switch back to the Machining tab, we can see a lot of the fields in yellow, indicating a variable is being used. By clicking on one of these fields, you can see the variable. After you've made all of the changes, we can now close this down by hitting the OK button. To start the calculation, you can hit the Start button here. Everything that is highlighted in blue will calculate. You can terminate a program here. We recommend that you terminate a calculating program before you try to edit it. Once we hit the Start button, our stock model and product shape begin calculating first, then our programs will calculate. Once everything is finished calculating, we can see CAMTool has popped up with an optimization warning. We can close this down as we are going to deal with it later. You have two columns here, the Calc Status, which is the raw calculation data, and the Op Status. CAMTool collision checks the tool against the stock model and the product shape. This is the toolpath that will be output when you post. We can see the toolpath by double-clicking in the Op Status section. With these current settings, it's very hard to see what's going on with the toolpath. I'm going to change the color of my model. To change the color of any entity, we can click on this box down here. This will bring up CAMTool's colors. I'm going to pick color number 21. By creating a window over layer 1, it will change the color. Allowing us to see the toolpath more clearly. There are a lot of customizable options when dealing with colors. For help with this, please contact support. Now let's check out that warning we got on our Op Status. We can right-click here and select Details. This will give us an idea of what errors CAMTool has found. Notice it says Tooling Interference. By right-clicking in the same area again and going to Show Optimization Error, we can now see that we have a lot of holder interference. And CAMTool is telling us our minimum protruding length required is 47.5 millimeters. To change this, we are going to right-click on the profile name, and we are going to go to Edit Optimization Condition. In this window, we can control all of the information to do with the tool. For help with any of the other tabs or how to import a drawn tool to your tooling database, please contact support. For now, we're just going to be changing the protruding length. We have to change it to a number greater than 47.5 millimeters. We're going to change it to 50 millimeters just to make it an even number. By hitting Tab, CAMTool will update the tooling. When we're done, we can hit OK to finalize everything. Notice how the op status has changed from warning to warning changed. This is CAMTool's way of telling you that something has changed but needs to be recalculated in order for the changes to take effect. We are going to hit our start button and CAMTool will recalculate the optimized side of the program with the new tool length. We can close this window down, and to remove the old toolpath data, we can do so by hitting the Clear CL button located here. Now that our program has finished calculating, we can see both statuses are normal and green, so we know that we are good to move on to the next program.